the Lions go 12-4, I'm sending this like tape in to ESPN.
One for the champs, baby. We don't win in the specific years that I want us to win. Let's go! I was big on them and so was Chandler. Because he's not the better player. Watch them play football.
Oh my God.
How's it going, everybody? And welcome to the new era of the Nosebleeds podcast, where we're going to be having weekly episodes about the NHL playoffs and the NBA playoffs. And today we're kicking it off with our first episode about the NHL playoffs. My name is Nick ANTONAKAS, and we're joined with the hockey crew. We got Chris Scamus, we got Andrew DONIS. How's it going, guys?
It's going quite well. How about yourself?
It's going good. I'm excited to start this kind of new format, get everybody some live news and updates and stuff like that. Just fresh stuff, fresh opinions before everything gets old. So, this will be uploaded later today. We're recording this Monday morning. It should be up this afternoon, so everybody can get our reactions right off the plate. So we hope you enjoy this new format, especially when games start. It'll be very convenient when we have that. So today we're going to be kind of discussing, because since we haven't had any hockey games yet, we're just going to be discussing kind of the playoff format coming ahead, players who opted out, and the biggest storylines going into the qualifying round of the NHL playoffs. So we have a lot to talk about today. So are you guys ready to dive into it?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so we'll start with the players who ended up opting out because of the risk of COVID-19. We got Travis Hamonic from the Calgary Flames, Mike Green from the Edmonton Oilers, Steven Kampfer from the Bruins, Carl Alsner from the Montreal Canadiens, Sven Batchery from Vancouver. That just goes to show you this list is very kind of irrelevant.
I'm going to go with Barchi, my prediction, but I have no clue.
Oh, yeah, Barchi.
But there's an E, so I don't know.
Bayerchi. Anyway, and then we got Robin Polak from the Dallas Stars. So who on this list stands out to you guys? Do you think any of these guys will have an impact on the teams who are sitting, having them, losing them, whatever? What do you think of the losses?
I think Hamonic and Polak are some big deals, but I didn't have the Stars or the Flames doing too well, so ultimately, I really don't think these guys are going to have a huge impact on their teams. I think they're still first-round exit teams. So,
I agree that these guys shouldn't have a big impact, but I don't think they're first-round exit teams for sure. These are some of the best teams.
I disagree.
But yeah, definitely. Polak is he's a good player, but it shouldn't make too much of an impact. Yeah, not much of a big deal, I think.
Yeah, I would say that maybe, Travis Hamonic, a guy like Hamonic who kind of was more of a depth player on that Flames offense. But then again, he could move up to something like the second line sometimes. So that's kind of a bigger loss for the Flames who kind of need some more consistency on offense. Even though, they have guys like Gaudreau and Monahan and Tkachuk and all those guys. But, it's always good to have that extra bit of depth, especially on offense when you go into playoff time, especially in a format like this where there's like an extra round added on. So, would have been important if they haven't, but I don't think it's going to be a detrimental loss.
Yeah, I think these guys are good. They can play their roles very well, but it's not – your team's not going to, significantly be worse. And your offense isn't going to, suffer from not having them.
Yeah. And, I mean, we can address the hometown guy, too, Steven Kampfer, who is also a depth forward for the Bruins. But I feel that they have so many depth forwards already. It's not really a huge deal.
Yeah, he doesn't even always start, too. So I think it's kind of just not a big situation there.
Yeah, the Bruins are stacked. That means nothing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if we don't have any other points on this, we can move to the Bruins more recent struggles, especially with the virus. Couple weeks ago on the Nosebleeds podcast Instagram, if you're not already following it, make sure to go follow it at nosebleeds__podcast. But the prior week, we found out that Pasternak and Kase were both sitting out of practice. They were deemed unfit to practice. Later that week, some more players came out that were also deemed unfit to practice. Rask was sent home early from a practice. And then there was a bunch of questions circulating about whether or not they had COVID, what was going on with them, and stuff like that, if they're going to be able to return, stuff like that. So yesterday, all the teams ended up traveling to the hub cities. All of the players who were deemed unfit to practice ended up traveling with the team. So we did find out that David Pastrnak ended up quarantining. He tested negative for the virus, but still he ended up quarantining in his home. I don't really know why. Maybe he was out doing stuff, because I remember Cam Neely made a comment like, oh, I wish he made some better decisions or whatever. But
yeah, I heard that he was in contact with someone who tested positive, and so it was kind of just everything. But yeah,
all right, yeah.
So not a big deal.
Yeah, so Pastrnak, and then Richie, we don't really know what happened to him. We still don't know what happened to Kase. Kase was the one with the most question marks around him. But all these guys ended up traveling. Do you think that they're all going to end up starting, especially through the qualifying rounds? What are your opinions on this?
I think Rask will start, and then Pasta I think will play, because Pasta's one of those guys you're kind of willing to, if he's willing to, the Bruins will be willing to take a risk with him to get that higher seed, because he's a really good player. So.
Yeah, I think all these guys should probably play. I think that Rask might be questionable, and we might have Halak take some shifts, But for the most part, yeah, Pastrnak should definitely play. He's a big loss if not. And then Kase, we don't really know what's going on with him, but he should probably play. He traveled with them, which is a good sign. So we'll see.
At the end of the day, I think it's going to come down to those guys deciding whether or not they want to play. The Bruins would like to have them out there. They seem like they can.
I think I agree with Chris that the most questions right now are surrounding Tuukka Rask just because of his finger, and especially when you have a guy like Jaroslav Halak who's been dependable all year. I wouldn't be surprised if they throw him in there, especially for the qualifying round. Let Rask rest, because Cassidy, I don't think, was too concerned with getting a top seed. He's kind of like, all right, screw it. Whoever we have to go through to get there, we can go through. But I think he's more concerned about kind of resting players through this qualifying round stage. And I mean, they're already guaranteed a spot in the next round. So he's like, all right, we'll just face whoever we face when we get there.
Yeah, and I saw that Rask was also practicing still, like lightly though. He wasn't practicing with the team. Some light practice, they said. So, I mean, that's a good sign. He's still out there. It's not like he's sitting out and not doing anything. So.
I mean, yeah, and the guy also who's not injured or has COVID with the most questions is Kase. Cassidy's been very flip-floppy on him. He's like, oh, I don't really know, blah, blah, blah. Like, I think it might have something to do with, like, behind-the-scenes stuff, but he said that that didn't have anything to do with it, but I don't really know what is going on with him.
Yeah, this is like another Belichick, Malcolm Butler situation, it seems like.
Oh, yeah. I mean, hopefully not, but I don't think he has the impact that Butler has.
If Boston's players want to sit out and let Philly win the championship, I'm all for it,
Coming from a Philly fan.
Yeah.
All right, well, I mean, any other thoughts on maybe the Bruins, who they'll start, who will play, anything like that?
No.
Yeah, I mean, I think we exhausted the topic. But, I mean, speaking of Tuukka Rask earlier, some questions in net for the Bruins about who will start, especially in the qualifying round. We have a lot of questions around the league. Who's going to end up starting in net? So we have a list here of players from each team. I heard at least 9 of the 24 teams have, like, questions about who's going to be starting in the qualifying round. So we'll just dive right into it, go through it, and see who's going to end up starting. So for the Rangers, we have the question. They have the 3 goalie tandem. They got Lundqvist. They got Shesterkin. I can't pronounce any of these names, but I know he's good.
Yeah.
And Georgiev, who's kind of another young guy, but more of the backup to the other young guys. So who do you guys think is going to start for the Rangers going into the qualifying round?
I think out of experience and just raw talent, you have to go with Lundqvist for me. I know that Igor Shesterkin has been pretty good this year, and they've been giving him a lot of time in net. But Lundqvist is just, this is getting to the playoffs now where we need the experience, and I think Lundqvist has just always been good, and no matter how older he gets, but he's just awesome.
Yeah, I agree with Chris. For the playoffs, you kind of got to go with your veteran guys, your leader guys who have done the playoffs before. So even though he's kind of getting old, he's still a pretty good goalie. So I think you just got to go with him just based out of experience, especially with kind of everything going on. It's not a normal season, so you kind of want to go with somebody who's managed a lot of playoff time before.
That's a good point, Donis. I was thinking more that they would end up starting Sheistikev or whatever the hell his name is, because of the fact that he was so successful in the regular season, and they were kind of leaning more towards him over Lundqvist. But especially in a situation like this, where the season isn't regular and stuff like that, guys are kind of up in the air, questionable what's going to happen, everything like that. And a guy like Lundqvist, who's been on the Rangers basically throughout his entire career, and he's kind of been like that leadership role in the locker room, I feel like it would be a smart decision to start him, especially in the qualifying round. And he had the Hurricanes number throughout the year. So, I mean, as much as I want them to start Lundqvist, I feel like there's still a pretty good chance that they go with Shesterkin, whatever. But, it's up in the air for them. But if I had to pick, I would say I would prefer Lundqvist to be the starter.
Yeah.
All right, and then we have for the Columbus Blue Jackets, we got Elvis Merzlikins and Jonas Korpisalo. So another young goalie tandem in the league. Who do you think is going to start?
I'm honestly not sure. I mean, against the Maple Leafs, right? Is that what they're playing?
Yeah, it's against the Maple Leafs. Want me to start?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'll go for it. I mean, I think Elvis Merzlikins is going to end up starting. Korpisalo, obviously, he has potential, but both of these guys are really good young goaltenders, and Elvis has just kind of shown more star levels of play throughout the season. So I wouldn't be surprised if they split games. Maybe every so often they go with the other guy. If they go down in the series, maybe they'll switch. But I think Elvis is kind of their guy to pull them. If they're going to beat the Maple Leafs, they're going to be starting Elvis. So,
yeah, I was going to say that they'll probably split time. It's going to be one of those things. And then whichever guy really shines will probably play the rest of the playoffs.
I agree.
All right,
so I know that name, so that's a good sign.
He was good. He was good throughout the regular season. So, and I mean, I don't know too much about Korpisalo. He did start a good amount of games this year, but I think the edge goes to Merzlikins. All right, and then we move to the Nashville Predators. There's questions arising if Pecorini is going to end up starting for the Nashville Predators, and their other option is Jose Saros. So, who do you think they're going to end up going with them?
I say Pecorino for the same reason I took Henrik Lundqvist. Pecorino has been great for a couple years now, for a while actually. So it just kind of makes sense to go with a guy who's been a great goalie, especially in the playoffs. Been very good, so I just feel like you go with him.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think Pecorino is more of that veteran goalie, like we said with Lundqvist, and that would probably be a big mistake if they don't end up starting him, especially all the numbers he's been putting up these past couple of years. So definitely.
I'm going to disagree with you guys, and I'm going to say that they should start Saros just because of how much of the decline Pecorini's been on especially this year. He's been on quite a decline. Like it says here, in the last 15 out of the last 21 games before the pause, Saros was starting. And then at that time, they were in a playoff spot. They were fighting to contend for that wild card spot. So I think that they're going to end up starting Saros. I think if things go downhill, they'll throw Pecorine in there just because of the experience factor that they have. But I feel like the difference between Rene and Lundqvist is that, sure, they both have experience. They've both been leader figures in their locker rooms, respectively. But Lundqvist can play at a much higher level than Rene can now, in my opinion, just because of the recent consistency that he's shown, even when he hasn't been starting. When he's come in for a game every so often, he would help them pull out a win. But, with Pecorine, you've seen that there's been an obvious decline, especially from last year. He dropped off pretty big. So I'm going to go with Saros, maybe a little bit unpopular of an opinion, but, we'll just have to see how it plays out.
I mean, it's not that unpopular because Saros only allowed 2.7 goals per game. Wow. Rene allowed 3.17. So,
yeah.
I mean, I'd go with Rene for the experience, but I'm not in that locker room. I don't know how Pecorine is feeling. I don't know if he just had a bad stretch or if he's, kind of starting to really decline. So.
Yeah, he is getting older too. I think he's 37, so he's up there like Lundqvist. But I don't know. I think I still would go with Pecorine because this year, yeah, he's been a little bit on the decline, but the past couple of years, he's been nothing but solid. So I think, at least give him the chance to start. We'll see what happens.
And another good point to make here is that I don't think it's a huge deal who ends up starting. I don't think it's going to be the detrimental factor in their series. I think the main thing they're going to have to focus on is offense, especially going against the Coyotes, who kind of thrive off their offense with Taylor Hall, Phil Kessel, Oliver Ekman-Larsson, who's an offensive defenseman kind of guy. But, you're going to let in goals either way. You're not going to be able to – and either of those guys are super, super talented. I do like both of them. And Saros has shown some potential, but at the same time, you're not going to be shutting down Phil Kessel and Taylor Hall every game. You're going to be letting in a good amount of goals. So I think the main focus for the Predators in that series is to combat with offense, fight fire with fire kind of thing. But, whoever ends up starting, I think will give them a pretty good chance. All right,
cool.
So now we will move to the Edmonton Oilers, who also have some questions in net. They got Mike Smith or Mikko Koskinen. These names are difficult, but who do you think they're going to end up starting?
Smith, that's a tough one.
I think they're both great goalies. I like them both a lot. I think Mike Smith has been obviously more in net this year, and he's been pretty good. But Koskinen has been getting a lot of net time actually. Also, he was on my fantasy team, so
oh my god,
when he was in, he was getting some great points. So they have options also. We'll see. I probably would say Mike Smith though.
Yeah, I would probably agree with Chris and go with Mike Smith. I don't know crazy amounts about Koskinen or whatever, but just based off what we saw in the regular season, Mike Smith was kind of dominating in the starts aspect of things. So I think they'll go with a guy, especially after the layoff. Mike Smith, who's kind of older, I feel like he could benefit off that time off, but it's up in the air right now. I like the Rangers and like the Blue Jackets. I wouldn't be surprised if they end up splitting between the two, especially in the qualifying round, to find out who works. So I feel like the Edmonton Oilers are a team that can move on even if their goalies are struggling. So if they just kind of work out the kinks there in the qualifying round, they'll have a set starter when it comes to the next one. So I'll go with Mike Smith for now, but, it's up in the air.
Yeah, it seems a bit of a trend of the veteran goalies getting the start.
Except Pecorine.
Well, I still picked him.
I just go with Mike Smith because you're going to go with the guy who's kind of proven himself more, who just has played more consistently, I guess.
Yeah, right. Not super bold, of a take
Yeah.
there because, it is up in the air. So then we move to their opponent. Oh, no, not their opponent. I almost said their opponent. Then we move to the Calgary Flames, who have it up in the air. Who are they going to start? Cam Talbot or David Rich? Who wants to
Should I
start?
start next?
I want me to start?
Yeah.
I'll go for it. I got to go with Cam Talbot. I think he's proven himself more in the league throughout the years. But I mean, this is all kind of like, it's up in the air because we haven't seen any games yet. Once we see some games, I think we could even tell from like the first game of the qualifying rounds, who's going to end up going in the long haul for these teams in net. So, it's going to come down to that first game, who ends up starting, if they play well or not. But I'll go Cam Talbot for now, just because I know him a little bit more. I know his style a little bit more, and I'm confident in his gameplay. So,
Yeah. I don't know much about the net situation for Edmonton, but I know Talbot. I don't know the other guy at all. So
I know, me neither.
Yeah. And yeah. Go ahead, Andrew.
I'm kind of with Chris. I don't know who the other guy is. Cam Talbot's a proven goalie, so I'm going to go with Cam Talbot.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, now we have the Minnesota Wilds, who have a extremely interesting goalie tandem. They have 4 goalies up in the air right now who they don't know they're going to start. So they have Devin Dubnyk, who was shut down a couple years ago, but just totally dropped off since then. Alex Stalock, who's been playing a lot for them this year, but, has been super, super impressive. Kaapo Kakkonen, I guess. And then Matt Robson. So, they have 4 options. This is kind of sad, when you have your goalie tandem wide open, who's going to be starting, that's not a great sign. So, if you had to pick one, who would you go with?
I think Mike Smith, for sure. I mean, I know he's
Mike
not this
Smith.
year, so yeah.
Mike Smith?
What?
Yeah. Are we?
Mike Smith isn't.
That's the Oilers.
I'm the wrong.
No, that's the Oilers.
Oh.
The
That's
Wild is
Oilers.
the one with 4. The Devin Dubnyk, Stalock, Kapanen, and Robson.
Oh.
Kakkonen.
Oh yeah. We're on the. Okay. We're on the Wild. Yeah.
Well, I'll start. I'll go with Dubnyk, just because I like what I've seen from him in the past. Stalock ended up starting the majority of the games this year, but he was kind of trash. So I never really liked
I
Alex
disagree.
Stalock that much. What'd you say?
I don't think he was that bad.
He was very
I haven't-
streaky.
What?
Like he would go on a run.
Yeah.
He was very streaky. He would go on a run and then he
Yeah.
would just absolutely suck.
I mean, but he averaged out a goals allowed average 2.67. Not great, but not horrendous.
That's okay. It's not
Pretty
bad.
good. I mean, Dubnyk allowed 3.35 with a save percentage
Ooh.
of 890.
Oh, that's bad.
Stalock had 910 and 2.67. So I feel like Stalock started most of the games. So you gotta go with him.
Well, wasn't Dubnyk banged up at some point in the year? Wasn't he dealing with some injuries? I thought he was dealing with some injuries, but I'm not 100% sure. How many games did he end up even starting? I thought it was only around 25, something like that.
His record was 12-15.
Yeah, so around 27. But I kind of similar to the Predators situation, especially with. Are you raising your hand? Do you have a point?
Yes.
Donis? Yeah, go for
Breaking
it.
news: Yankees and Phillies has been postponed.
Yeah, I
You
saw
heard it here
that.
first.
I was gonna wait till the baseball segment, but that's fine.
Well,
Very
yeah,
disappointing.
we'll get into that more about the baseball segment, but this is the positive
Breaking.
thing about having these episodes going up the same day. We got breaking news, live reactions to breaking news around the world. So yeah, so back to the Wilds. We got. Well, I think I'm going to start with Donis here. I'll go with Stalock just because of the pure statistics of it, but I don't think it's too assuring that they have 4 guys that they could start here. I think that you would at least rule out 2 of them and just rule it down to Dubnyk and Stalock. But that's kind of weird that they have 4 guys up in the air about who's going to start. But, I'll go
Yeah,
with
exactly.
Staylock. I wouldn't be surprised if Dubnyk starts.
If we're gonna narrow it down to two, I would say Dubnyk and Staylock also. I don't think the other guys are too relevant, but
I have no clue the other guys are. So
yeah.
All right, so I think we can all agree with Staylock. Maybe if Dubnyk kind of, this rest could benefit him, and if we throw him in there for a game, especially in one of these exhibition games, and he plays really well, maybe they'll start him then. If he can return to that format that he was at a couple of years ago when he was just absolutely shut out. But, we'll just have to wait and see.
yeah, he was filthy a couple of years ago.
Yeah, he was really good. Then we move to the Golden Knights. This is kind of surprising for me. They are considering starting Robin Lehner over Marc-Andre Fleury. Now, don't get me wrong. Robin Lehner was extremely good for the Blackhawks throughout the season before he got traded, and then the Senators before that. But, a guy like Marc-Andre Fleury you have in there who has so much experience, who would you guys put in?
I don't know
I
why.
think Mark might be my favorite goalie in the league. I think there's no way that they don't start him this year. So,
DONIS?
Yeah, same thing. I don't know why this is a question. You got to go Marc-Andre Fleury. He's been the better goalie, and he has a ton of playoff experience.
yeah, with the Penguins.
Yeah. At times he shut down the Flyers in the playoffs. I'm bummed.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I don't know why this is a question. I don't know why. Did they say that they were considering starting?
Well, it says here that the Golden Knights have to choose from Marc-Andre Fleury and Robin Lehner, who was acquired in a trade from Chicago on February 24th. Robin Lehner was extremely good with the Blackhawks before they got here, before he went to the Golden Knights. I don't know why the Blackhawks traded him or why the Golden Knights accepted that trade, because it just doesn't make any sense. The Golden Knights don't need a goalie.
They don't need a goalie.
And the Blackhawks needed a goalie, and then they traded him away.
I don't know.
So
I'd go with Fleury. That's all I know.
I would go with Fleury too, but I feel like it's a waste of talent with Robin Lehner. I don't know why
It is
he's
kind of a waste going to get him. Yeah.
It's kind of stupid. But anyway.
Maybe they're tired or something, so they're going to play every other game.
Yeah, but how would you be tired? How would you be tired, though, after, a couple of months off? If Fleury's still, run down from that, then he shouldn't be your starter.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand why this is.
I know.
I'd go with Fleury.
as much as I like Robin Lehner, I just don't think that he's going to be able to beat Fleury out for the job.
Yeah.
All right. So now we move to the Avalanche, who also have some questions. Another kind of shocking thing for me. They're between starting Philip Grubauer and Pavel Francouz, who has no NHL postseason experience. Why would you even consider this? It has to be Grubauer. What is this NHL article?
Yeah, I agree, 100%.
They're lacking. The article is too short, so they just added the Knights and the Avalanche at the end.
Definitely.
Why didn't they add the Bruins? If they're going to add anything, why wouldn't you add the Bruins? Because Rask had his finger, and Halak has been very good.
Because nobody likes Boston and nobody likes Philly.
NHL's backwards, dude.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you would have to go with Grubauer. Even if Francouz was playing good in the regular season, Grubauer has been good as well. So I don't know how that's even a question. You start the guy with postseason experience.
Exactly. Like Andrew said with Fleury, too. It's the same situation. It's just.
I get it. I get it a little bit more with starting Lehner because he was with the Senators at that time when they were making that playoff run. He wasn't really starting games for them. I think he might have started a game or two one year when Anderson was injured or something. I don't know. I feel like he started a couple of those games. Or with the Islanders. I think he was with the Islanders at one point.
Dude, Fleury starts.
I know, but I get that a little bit more because he's been playing well and he has some playoff experience, but this is like a fresh rookie off the bench. Like, why would you throw him into the playoffs against well if it's the round robin play, I get it a little bit more. Maybe they do start Lehner then. I kind of forgot about that because they're already in. Maybe you rest Fleury and you start Lehner. But I don't think they're going to start. What'd you say?
He doesn't need to rest. He's had so much rest with the quarantine and everything.
No, I know, but God forbid risk him getting an injury or something like that.
Yeah,
Because he
I
is
guess.
very injury prone.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I mean, with the Avalanche, I don't even get that. It's Grubauer, hands down. Has to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we're done with some goalies for now. Now we will move to another story going into the NHL playoffs. We got the Toronto Maple Leafs, who has been through – they've been through a lot this past year, losing to the Bruins again last year, losing their coach Babcock. He got fired. And now they're having some issues on offense throughout the year. They were kind of struggling to maintain a top 3 spot in the Atlantic Division. So, things have been up and down for them all year. And now a big question is, will they combine John Tavares, Austin Matthews, and Mitch Marner all on the same line to try and generate some star power offense and just kind of, start that line, getting them like 30 minutes of ice time a game, something like that?
I'll go first.
Yeah.
I think that they shouldn't do this because I think the Leafs are a really good team and they're pretty stacked, especially now that they got Tavares the last couple of years.
Mm.
And if they do that, then that really puts all the power into the first line. Whereas if they really mix time and they give the top line the same amount of time as the second line, then they have basically constant pressure in the offensive zone. So I think that, yeah, definitely. I don't think they should do that. I think they should keep Tavares and Matthews separated.
Yeah, I agree. You have Nylander with Austin Matthews, so it's not like these guys are alone. I don't think they should put kind of all the focus on one line, because if they do, then they're kind of capping themselves. I feel like at 2 goals almost. If you're not applying constant pressure, you're not going to score goals. So yeah, I've never been a big fan of kind of stacking one line.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that I wouldn't definitely go into a game by game basis. I would not start these 3 on the same line. But, if you're down in the series and you really need some offense, I would throw them in all on the same line, kind of like what we saw from the Bruins last year, mixing up their lines. They're kind of back and forth, starting Marchand, Bergeron, Pastrnak all on the same line. But the difference between the Bruins and the Maple Leafs in that situation is that the Bruins have a very consistent center core. When the Leafs do it well, Matthews, but past those 2 guys, you kind of running thin on the center side of things. But if you start Matthews, who's a center on the wing, that makes your center core even weaker. So, your line 2 center is a line 3 center. When the the Bruins line 3 center could be a line 2, maybe even a line 1 center on a really bad team. But, Coyle is an extremely good player when the Leafs have kind of they don't really have that much depth. So for that reason, I wouldn't start them all 3 on the same line. But, if you're down against the Blue Jackets 2-1 or 2-2, something like that, and you really need some offense, throw them all in there. You got to take a risk when it comes down to that.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as I think it would be entertaining to see them all on the same line, I just don't feel it's going to, help them out, especially a team who needs secondary scoring. That would be bad.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now we will move into our weekly baseball segment. We got the Nosebleeds podcast, Clear the Bases. Woohoo. So, we had a lot going on in baseball this past week. We had opening day a couple of days ago. We'll just kind of, bounce around the league, some big moments, some big games, teams that are overperforming, teams that are underperforming. Let's kick it off with the baseball guys, Chris and DONIS. Go for it.
Well, first, I think we should start off with the whole Marlin situation, where a lot of the guys, yeah, a lot of them tested. Andrew, do you know how many exactly?
I think it was 14, right?
14, I believe, is 14 as of now, but who knows?
Yeah, they tested positive for the coronavirus. So they played the Phillies last week, which is why Andrew said that the Phillies-Yankees game is canceled now.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, their game is also canceled, obviously, the Orioles and Marlins. That's some breaking news right now.
Yeah, we
Heard
got
here
the news
first,
fresh. Yeah, you heard it here first on the Nosebleeds podcast,
For the basis.
But this
Oh, yeah.
this isn't a good start for the MLB though. If you're gonna already be getting cases and stuff like that.
It's not start for the Nationals.
What?
Now the Marlins. I mean, the NL. The Nationals they kind of had their breakout first. So, I mean, two teams in the same division. Not a great look.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah, I don't know.
If they were going to return to baseball, they should have done a bubble thing.
If everybody wants to collapse right around the Phillies and kind of give the Phillies forfeit wins, I mean, I'm all for that. But
I mean, yeah. I mean, not like the Marlins or the Orioles are going to be Orioles. Why do I keep saying Orioles? Oh my God, Orioles. I don't think either of those teams are going to be making a huge stand, even with or without COVID. So
I mean, who knows? Marlins just smacked the Phillies. Everybody I talked to, the consensus was first through four in the division are in between Nats, Mets, Braves, and Phillies, pretty even. The Marlins were like way below everybody. The Phillies just go out and decide to level 11 runs against the Marlins. We go like 0 for 5 with bases loaded.
In that 3-game series, other than the second game where they only had 1 run, they were putting up a lot of offense, and the Phillies were struggling to keep up. So that's crazy.
I mean, even the last game, the Phillies scored 6 runs.
Yeah.
And they went 0 for 5 with bases loaded. So they were, it's not like people aren't getting on base. It's just they haven't been able to capitalize. And pitching stinks. It's just horrendous. It's always been an issue. We don't have a bullpen.
Yeah.
And I mean, sticking with teams who have been underperforming, like the Phillies, the Red Sox going against the Orioles in their opening series of the season. So, they played well in their home opener. They got the win, but then they just lost. Yeah, they did. It was like, what was it, 11-3, 12-3, something like that?
I can check and make sure.
10-3. It was something to 3, something above 10-3.
It was 13-2.
Oh, well.
Not 3, but yeah, they killed them. Their offense.
It was good. Anyway.
They were, I think, or 3 innings in a row. The 3rd, 4th, and 5th inning, or 3rd, 4th, and 6th actually. But they put up 4 runs, 6 runs, 3 runs. They're just constantly scoring. And the new addition of Kevin Pillar I think is huge. He was they showed a bunch of highlights for him the game after, and I saw that he was playing incredible defense and offense. He's super fast, so he was getting on base, and that's a big aspect now to the team. But the next 2 games, I know they didn't start him in the 2nd game, and the 3rd game he didn't really perform as much. But it's kind of weird.
Yeah, speaking of those next 2 games, they ended up losing them both back-to-back to the Orioles, which is kind of, that's pretty bad if you're a Red Sox fan, if you're already losing to the Orioles. So,
yeah, and they
had high hopes for them after their home opener, but
yeah.
What were you going to say before?
I just said they allowed a lot of runs too, both games.
Yeah, the defense was lackluster.
Yeah.
Well, anything else baseball related? Oh yeah, the Blue Jays. What about the Blue Jays who ended up not playing in their home stadium or whatever?
Yeah, so I mean, now with the coronavirus and the Marlins, that might be a whole different situation. But all teams were allowed to play at their regular stadiums except for the Blue Jays because Canada didn't allow them to play at the Rogers Center. So they're going to be relocated to their minor league stadium, the Buffalo Stadium.
Oh my God.
So, yeah, they haven't played there yet, but we'll see how that goes. And it's a lot smaller too, I've heard. So could be very high scoring, which might be fun to watch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
one thing that I do appreciate, though, about this new format of the season, even though it should be a bubble, because the breakouts like these are going to happen all the time now, but I do appreciate that it's much shorter of a season, so every game actually matters. Like, in a regular baseball season, you'd be like, okay, let's watch home opener, and then the next 2 months, like the middle months, we're like, all right, screw this. It's just not important. And then at the end, you would rejoin. What'd you say?
Yeah.
I'm not. I love baseball, but
Don't tell me that you're for
weird,
like
but,
the 100-and-something game season.
yeah,
Why? They're not
I know.
important.
I mean, I agree. Short.
Like every day, this kid will send me a video of the Blue Jays, like
Oh
some
my
sick
God.
hit, just like a 6-minute. Gotta tap to like 85 Snapchats to get through it. I mean, he watches like every single game. I mean, I think baseball didn't do a great job of kind of capitalizing on this whole thing. I do like the shorter season where kind of every game matters, but I feel like, well, I thought they took too long, but now with all the breakouts, maybe they didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Definitely,
just
I
all
agree.
kind of up in the air.
I like, yeah, it's. I mean, who knows at this point with the Marlins breakout, the Nationals breaking out.
Nationals too?
It's not looking great for the old. Nationals did it first.
Oh, yeah. And now
Juan
the
Soto did, and then
Phillies maybe
like,
too.
like Strasburg was. I don't think the Phillies have it. I think the problem was the locker rooms.
Yeah, maybe they're just being cautious.
Yeah.
Well, that was clearing the bases.
Wait, I got one more thing.
But
Oh, yeah. Now
So,
clearing the bases.
also,
Go.
Let's go to the Astros really quick. So after their
Oh,
whole
screw the
scandal and
Astros.
yeah, they've just still been crazy, really good off the bat. And yeah, everyone hates them. And as
yeah, it kind of.
I think, was it the summer league game, like one of the first ones against the Royals, or was it the opening series? I'm not sure, but the top two guys, so Altuve and Bregman, got hit intentionally to start off the season. Yeah, so there's a lot of bad blood still, which is crazy.
They were like Vegas bets.
What?
They were like Vegas bets on what?
Like Vegas had
Oh, if they're gonna get hit.
How much they're going to –
who the first Astros player to get hit was. I think the odds were on Bregman. I don't know.
Wow.
Who got hit first, but Altuve and Bregman both got pegged right to start the game.
Good.
So
Good.
yeah, seems
Screw them.
95.
Yeah, they're really not over it.
Heater at the head.
Wait, who are they playing, though, in the first game?
Well, I don't know if it was in the summer camp or the regular one, but in the opening series they played Seattle Mariners. But it could have been in the summer camp where I saw this, and that was against the Kansas City Royals.
Oh,
So I'm not.
jeez.
Yeah, pretty crazy. But they've still been really good this year. They've been putting up
That
a lot of runs.
sucks.
Yeah, it's not good. Good for Houston fans, but
Maybe they'll get COVID.
that's terrible.
On that
but,
note, on that note, that's clearing the bases. So what a way to go out. But now we'll finish off. What a way to go out of the baseball segment. But now we're going to wrap up the episode with some predictions for the upcoming week. This is how we're going to end every episode. I mean, next week we're going to have a lot more games to predict. But in this episode, we're only going to have 2 days worth of games to predict, 5 games each day. So we'll start with it. We'll go for it. We're going to start with game 1 of the Rangers versus the Carolina Hurricanes in their best-of-5 series. Who do you guys got? It's at 12 p.m. on Saturday, August 1st. Who are you taking?
I'm going to take the Hurricanes in that one.
I'm going to go with it. Yeah, me too.
Hurricanes.
Rangers, Hurricanes? Yeah. Isn't that what you said?
Did Donis say the Hurricanes too?
Yeah.
Gee, I'm going Rangers.
Well, I just feel like the Rangers haven't been great, to be honest.
Panarin?
I feel like they've kind of struggled. You know, they have Panarin, but
Zibanejad?
there's a reason they're playing here and not in the round robin, you know?
Trouba?
Yeah, I don't know. I like the Carolina Hurricanes. I think that they're pretty good.
Oh,
And-
we didn't even address the Hurricanes problem in that. If they're going to start Mrazek or not. I don't think that matters.
I don't think it matters. I mean, the Hurricanes winning the series either way.
You think so, really? We picked the Rangers
I
to
do.
move on in our NHL episode with Tommy. Well, did he pick the Rangers and you picked the Hurricanes first?
I think I picked the Hurricanes, yeah. I still like them.
Oh.
I mean, Sebastian Aho, Justin Williams, Dougie Hamilton. There's a lot of good talent up there.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I don't know. I've always liked the Hurricanes. They've kind of had a –
Hurricanes one of those teams, kind of young stars, I think.
Yeah,
Maybe
definitely.
they can play well.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to say Rangers. So, next week we'll come back at these predictions, but, we'll see. Then we got the Blackhawks and the Oilers, game 1 of their best-of-5 series. Who you guys taking?
Go ahead, Andrew. I already know who I'm taking. But.
I guess I'm going to go Oilers.
I'm going Oilers, too.
I love the Blackhawks by far.
Bro.
I mean, I think Blackhawks are just an awesome team, and they're very underrated. I know they haven't been performing as much, but they have great talent. I know the Oilers obviously are crazy good right now with Draisaitl and McDavid and all that, but the Blackhawks with Patrick Kane and Jonathan Taves come up clutch. I mean, that's going to be a great matchup to see those four guys. Yeah.
David on.
It'll be a good matchup, but I'm more –
kind of.
Go ahead.
With Taves and Kane are kind of the veteran guys. Were big during my elementary and middle school years, and now McDavid is kind of a young star, so it'll be good to kind of see them go at it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Oilers as well with DONIS. Not even because I don't think Taves and Kane will perform. I think they will, but Corey Crawford has just been all over the place as of late, especially in these past couple of days. People are saying that he's not going to be ready to the qualifying rounds. There's a lot of questions surrounding him right now, so. I mean, if the Blackhawks were going to win a game in this series, I don't think it's definitely not going to be this first one. They're going to have to set in first with their goaltending situation, but I'm taking Oilers game 1.
They have Malcolm Subban, though, too, as a goaltender.
Yeah,
really
but Malcolm Subban's pretty inconsistent.
Yeah, that's
in
true.
my opinion. I mean, when he was with the Bruins, he wasn't that good. But then he went to the Knights and he played okay. He had one really good game with like 50-something saves and a shutout, but
they also have
he's very streaky.
The Blackhawks. I mean, they have Duncan Keith, who is getting kind of older, but Oli Mata also, who they got from the Penguins. And then, yeah, and they have diversity too. They had more talent in the lower lines, like with Dylan Strome and Alex Brinkett.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you that it's going to be a deep series. It's going to be an entertaining series to say the least. But if the Blackhawks are going to win some games in the series, I don't think they're going to win it. But if they're going to win a couple of games, it's not going to be game 1, in my opinion.
Okay.
All right.
I think the Blackhawks are going to catch them off guard, but we'll see next week.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see, I guess. All right, so now we'll move to the Panthers and the Islanders in game 1 of their best-of-5 series. Who you guys taking?
I'll go first. I think that's going to be a tough one. I'll probably take the Islanders. They're pretty good. They got a lot of talent also, but I don't know. I mean, that's going to be close for sure. That's one of those ones that I was really on the fence about. But
yeah, I would go Islanders too. I do have the Panthers coming out of this series with the win, but Bobrovsky has been so up in the air how he's going to play, blah blah blah. So if the Islanders are going to win a game, it's going to be now before Bobrovsky gets into a groove. If he hopefully gets into a groove, but it could go either way. But I'm going to go Islanders game 1.
Yeah, so am I.
All right, and then we have the Penguins and the Canadiens. Game 1 of their best-of-5 series. Who you guys taking?
Penguins.
I'm going to go – yeah.
I hate the Penguins, but they're very good.
Canadians are pretty good, though, too. I mean, they were doing pretty good going into the break. And, I don't know. It's going to be tough, obviously, Carey Price with the veteran goaltender. And
wasn't Crosby, struggling or something?
Yeah, he has been, definitely. He's not been the same Crosby that we've seen in the past, 10 years.
No, I think, in the break because of COVID, he was, struggling to make a comeback or something like that. I don't know.
Really?
I read something about that. either he's going to be really rusty, he said, or like he's injured, coming off an injury, something like that. I read something on NHL.com about Crosby like struggling to make a comeback, and he's hoping to play this first game against the Canadiens. If Crosby doesn't play, I think the Canadiens will win. Like, you know, if Crosby doesn't play, that's the chance the Canadiens need to get a win in the series. But, you know.
Yeah, for sure. If Crosby doesn't play, that'll be a big boost for the Canadiens.
Yeah, but I mean, I think if Crosby plays, you know, they got a good chance.
Yeah.
But, you know,
Price
Price is good.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, and now we move on to the last game on Saturday. We got the Jets and the Flames in game one of their best-of-5 series. Who you guys taking?
I'm going to take the Flames for sure. I like the Flames a lot. Johnny Gaudreau, they have, and some good talent. I don't know. I think that the Flames are one of those teams that I think will come out and be, especially with, what's his name? It's one of the Kachuk brothers, you know? Matthew or Brady?
Matt. I think it's Matthew.
Okay. Well, I mean, they're both really good. And so they have the young talent. They got Monahan, Giordano. And, yeah, they're one of those teams that'll come out and no one really expects them to do well, and I think they'll go pretty far.
I have the Flames winning this series, but I think that the Jets are going to take game one for the similar reason that I had the Blackhawks and Oilers game one situation going. I think the Flames are going to have to figure out their goalie tandem first before they can win a game. So I'll pick Jets game one. Hellebuck will show up for him there. DONIS,
Andrew?
you're muted.
There's some Wi-Fi issues.
Some Wi-Fi. All right.
Oh, right, there you go.
Wait, come back. We didn't even hear what
Is it
you
working
said.
out?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. I have a weird feeling the Jets are just gonna win this series. I don't know why.
Okay.
Just a feeling?
You know. just gotta feeling. Sometimes you just know. The Jets, I think.
Well, if the Jets win, we know who to thank.
Yeah.
You know who to thank. Heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, you heard it here first on the Nosebleeds podcast. All right, and now we move to the Sunday games that we got. We finally got some round robin games. We got the Bruins and the Flyers on Sunday in a round robin matchup. Who you guys taking?
This is going to be a very exciting game, but, I mean, how can you not take the Bruins? I know Andrew's not going to, but
you have to take the Flyers. You have to take the
definitely
Flyers. You have to take the Flyers. Flyers are just the better team.
I'm actually going back and forth.
I mean, not really, but the Flyers have played very well against the Bruins, and I think with Oscar Lindblom and his cancer treatment going very well, the team is at high spirits, very motivated. You know, so I don't know. I just have the Flyers kind of going through, but I'll be there to watch the game with Chris.
Yeah, I mean, the Flyers were really, really good going into the break. They kind of came out of nowhere.
Very good.
Yeah, they kind of just came out of nowhere. That was awesome for us.
Was it 13 games, I thought?
I don't know.
No, it was 9. My fault.
Yeah, but they were just really good, I know for sure. But I mean, then again, they're going up against the President's Trophy winners, so the best team in the league.
Yeah, kind of thanks.
I don't know. My gut says to go with the Flyers just because I'm concerned about Tuukka Rask.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely. I mean,
if Tuukka Rask starts, then it's an easy Bruins win. Screw you,
That's
Donis.
just false. That's false.
How? We beat you in the last game of the season, 2-0.
I have a big hot take here. So I think that Rask is worse than Halak right now.
What?
Right now. With the finger situation and everything, I think that the Bruins will
okay, with the finger situation, obviously, but
no, but still, I mean, Rask struggled big time. I mean, and he's been in the last year. No, yes, he has. His rebound. Okay, there's like some stat that I saw, and on the second chance shots, he was awful. Like he makes some crazy save, and then he leaves the entire net wide open. It was nuts. I think it there's a lot of goals on second chance shots. But anyway, I think that
Donis's face is red.
no matter what, I don't think it'll come down to the goaltending situation. We have such a good offense and defense that, I mean, we should beat them. I don't think we'll sweep, but we should beat them.
Well, I mean, it's not even – I mean, as much as I like Halak, Rask is still better. I mean, I agree with you that we can still win a game with Halak in there, but the Flyers have been really good as of late. So, you know.
Yeah, but they don't have a great goalie.
Yeah, they do. Carter Hart. Carter Hart's been great.
Carter Hart is crazy good. I mean,
he's okay.
But
he's been good.
In the last 3 games, Flyers have won 2 out of the last 3 games. And that was before the whole hot streak thing.
No, wait, what?
That was before they got good.
No, it wasn't. Their last 3 games, they were already good.
What?
You're saying the
last 3 games against the Bruins.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh, well, no, their last game of the season was against the Bruins, and they lost.
Yeah, the Bruins won that.
And that was after
they lost. Good. And then the 2 games before that, they won.
Yeah, but that was before they were good. So now when they were good, they couldn't beat us.
That's so stupid.
I'm taking the Bruins.
Yeah, I'm taking the Bruins, too.
I'm taking the Flyers.
Well, we'll just have to wait and see, I guess.
The Bruins lose. I mean,
maybe I'll live stream it on the Instagram, my reaction to watching it, and then you can join. Donis can join, and you can join. That would kind of be fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, maybe we'll do that. Don't quote me on that. We might not, but then we got the Coyotes and the Predators in their first game of their 5-game series. Who you guys taking?
I'm taking the Preds.
I'm taking the Coyotes.
Yeah, I'm taking the Preds.
I think the Predators are really good this year also. They're kind of a team. Also, they have the goalie situation, like I talked about earlier. But on defense, they have a solid defense this year. One of the best, I think. But even offense, too. Now that they got Duchesne this year, too, he's been a big impact. So him and Forsberg up top. Yeah, I don't know. I like the Predators this year. I got that feeling that Andrew has.
I don't know. I feel like this is kind of like one of the worst series. This one and the Wild and Canucks. These teams to come out of it are like automatic losers in the next rounds. So
that's not totally true. I mean, the Predators have one of the best defensive lines with Yossi and Ellis.
I mean, yeah, that's a good line, but you know, when they have questions up in the internet about Rene or Saros, you know, I think it's going to be the same situation. I think they can win the series. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, like the reasons I said prior for like the Blackhawks and Oilers and stuff like that, I don't think the Predators are going to win this first game when they're up in the air about who's going to start goalie. If they throw Rene in there and he sucks, you know, Coyotes are going to win.
That's true.
So,
I could say.
I'll go Coyotes game 1. Even though I think that the Predators will win the series, I'll go Coyotes game 1. Donis?
He picked the Predators.
I'm going with Chris here. I think the Predators just the better team.
Wow.
I do kind of agree with Nick that it's kind of a weak series. I don't expect either of these teams to do very well afterwards, but Predators team.
Okay.
All right. All right. Now we'll move to the Blues and the Avalanche in a round-robin game. Who you guys taking?
I think this will be a really good one also. This is one of those ones. It's going to be close because it's the defending champions and the Blues, who I think will lose to the Avalanche. Because
I'm not against that.
I mean, Nathan McKinnon has been on fire this year. We all know that for sure. And then he's got Landeskog up there helping him and, you know, a few other guys. I don't know. But, yeah, I don't know. I think that the Blues – I also just kind of have a hatred towards them because of what happened last year. But
yeah.
But, yeah, they're a good team too. So it'll be good. But hopefully the Avalanche. I just don't want to play the Blues again.
Donis? Yeah.
This one's kind of up in the air. I want the Avalanche. It's gonna be close, but I do like Nathan McKinnon, so I think I'm gonna go Avalanche.
I agree with you all that this is gonna be close. I'm gonna go Blues just because I don't know. There's that question about who's gonna start in net, even though that I think it's gonna be Grubauer by far. I just think that the Blues will get this one. I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Avalanche go 2-1. They just lose to the Blues and then they win their next two. But
is everyone healthy for both teams? Like Tarasenko's back.
Ooh, good question. I don't know if Tarasenko's back because he got injured, right?
Yeah, he was hurt last year or this season. I mean,
dang,
but,
that's a good question. I think he should be back because I thought it was like a 6-month injury when he got injured back in October or something.
Yeah.
But he should be back. He might not be the same, especially now that they weren't able to play. So, they're usually rusty when they come back from an injury, then add 2 more months. That's bad.
They've been playing a lot without him too, obviously almost the entire season. So putting him in the mix, so he's a star player trying to take more time. I think that might kind of mess them up too. Or it could help a lot and they could just kill the Avalanche, but we'll see.
That's definitely one of the closest games that we have on the schedule here. So, I'll go Blues for now, but I'm cheering for the Avalanche, and I hope they win. And I wouldn't be surprised if they do.
Yeah.
All right, and then we have our second to last game here. We have the Blue Jackets and the Maple Leafs in Game 1 of their best-of-5 series in the qualifying round. Who are you guys taking?
I definitely Maple Leafs. I love the Maple Leafs, even though I'm a Bruins fan. They're probably like second or third behind the Stars. Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner, Tavares. I mean, all these guys are just. I mean, we talked about them, what they're going to do with their front line, and all that. But even without moving up Matthews, I think that with Nylander, it's just still crazy dynamic duo. And I think I don't know. I mean, Anderson has always struggled in the playoffs, so we'll see what happens there. But I don't know if they can figure it out, they're going to be really good, and I think they'll beat them for sure.
Yeah, I'm going to go Maple Leafs. Kind of for what we were talking about earlier, they haven't had the greatest offense, but without that talent, I think they kind of have to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go Blue Jackets in this first game, just because. Listen. I read that Tortorella has been super upset with how the Blue Jackets have been playing in their practices and stuff like that. So he's been like he sat them down the other day for like a huge team meeting and he screamed at them and stuff. So I feel like they're motivated to get a win and prove them wrong. And especially at a time, like I said before, the Maple Leafs are not going to start with Marner, Tavares, Matthews all on the same line. So I feel like it might take them a couple of games to get into the series and figure out their line situation like it did the Bruins the year prior, last year, in the series against the Maple Leafs with Pastrnak and all that. So I think the Blue Jackets will win Game 1. And, I still have the Leafs winning the series in 5, but I think that the Blue Jackets are motivated right now, and the Maple Leafs don't know what they're going to do on offense right now. So, I'll go Blue Jackets.
Okay.
All right, and then no.
Yeah, I mean, we both didn't pick them, so yeah.
Off the cap.
All right, when the Blue Jackets win, we'll discuss next week.
In one game.
Ooh. All right. Well, then we have our last game here. We have the Wild and Canucks, the series of trash. Who are you guys taking?
Trash? I don't know about trash.
Who cares?
Both these teams are getting out if they move on. I'm sorry, Canucks fans and Wild fans out there, but Wild should be rebuilding. I don't know why they're even here.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I'll take the Canucks probably.
Wild, I'll go Canucks too.
And I think the Canucks are, if anybody from these few teams that we said are trash, they're probably the best because they have a lot of young talent also with Elias Pettersson and then the rookie Quinn Hughes, who is doing really good. Bo Horvat. So.
And don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, I like the Canucks. I like
Yeah.
Markstrom and all them. But it's just like, if they move on, they're losing. I think they'll move on in like 4 games. But, they're losing if they move on. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
but
probably.
I'll take Canucks.
There's too many good teams right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what I like,
Hey,
though. It
Siri,
gives them a
flip
chance.
coin.
Hey,
I'm
Siri.
gonna go with wild because that's what Siri.
Did you just say flip a coin?
Because what?
Well, then I flipped a coin. I don't think
Oh
either
my
of these
God.
teams is very good.
Yeah, but the Canucks
Okay,
are better.
Yeah, I feel
And
like
I really. Yeah, I mean the wild rate element the Canucks might be
Fix that
slightly
Wi-Fi.
better, but I feel like. I mean, this series.
Dude, your Wi-Fi's potatoes. What are you doing?
All right. Should we move on?
No, I don't know what you want me to do. Make the entire family.
We can't even understand what you're saying. All right, there he goes.
Yeah.
Well,
So Canucks. Yeah.
Yeah, Canucks and DONIS is going wild on a coin flip. So we'll go with that for now. We'll be back with you next Monday with some reactions to all the games. We'll have more to talk about next week after, we've actually seen some games and had some moments. But, hope you enjoyed this episode, our first episode of the new era of the Nosebleeds podcast. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to ACMi Sports on YouTube and follow us at nosebleeds__podcast on Instagram for all the latest updates and etc. that has to do with the Nosebleeds podcast. And make sure to stay tuned. This Wednesday, we're going to be having the next episode of the – yeah, Chris, do you want to say something?
Yeah, you guys should turn on post notifications because we're going to be doing this every week. So
Oh, smart.
start watching these and
Dude, hit the bell. Smart idea, Chris. Let's go.
stay caught up on all the latest Nosebleeds podcasts.
That's actually really smart because this is going to be going up on the same day. So, every Monday and Wednesday, if you just hit that bell, just ding, ding, then the episode's up. You can go watch it.
Mhm.
So, yeah. We'll see you next Wednesday, though, this Wednesday with our NBA playoffs episode, our premier NBA playoffs episode. And then if you're on our hockey crew, we'll see you back here next Monday for our next hockey episode. We'll have some more to talk about. So thank you, everybody, so much for watching this episode of the Nosebleeds podcast. From ACMi Sports, my name is Nick Antonakis, and we'll see you next time. Thank you so much for watching.